Dandavat, so many devotees already here, and we're happy to see you all. And we're being looked after by Udaran Prabhu, and we've come to Suresh Krishna's home. Actually, we've come to Latvia. So happily with you all, with morning or afternoon obeisances. Simultaneous translation, yes? Okay, I'm not waiting for any other kind of translation. All right, perfect. And so to Hari Gopal Prabhu, also, I saw your long message. I haven't had like 1.5 hours to play the whole video message. Oh, maybe a little shorter. But anyhow, just to let you know, if there's anything important there, you better tell me now. And to Narayani in Bali, oh my goodness. I read again yesterday the long message of our dear devotee, and I will reply you. It's also, these have been very active days, and it's just simply my inefficiency not to be able to keep up sometimes. So please excuse. All right, so I am traveling, even though we say we're not traveling, but still traveling a little bit. I'm here in Hungary, so a little bit closer to Latvia. And first of all, we do want to begin our Zoom with Mini Vandanam. And actually, if I'm gently able to, I do have Srila Gurudev here with Mini Vandana. And if we hear from him, it is good. And yes, I have it still lined up. So here is Mini Vandanam by Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj.
Vande Hang Shri Guru Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Akrajatam Sagana Raghunathannikam Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Avadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Nitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Panchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhudhaiva cha Patitanang Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo 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 Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishi Namaha Jayasya Parikara Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govind Sundrapad Padmanang Jayastu.
Anyway, I came across this by chance, and so when we can hear from Gurudev directly, then we're very happy to do so. And my obeisances to you all, to everybody here, all in the spacious room of Suresh Krishna Prabhu. Banchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And in particular, jai to Srila Gurudev, to Srila Guru Maharaj, to Srila Prabhupada, and to Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vanga. It is them that each of us, we are trying to catch their message and share their message. Suresh Krishna Prabhu, Govardhan Hari Prabhu, we have come to join you from around the world, you can see.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Sempredanam.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat to all the devotees. We're very happy that you've joined us on our program today. We had wonderful kirtan, regardless that it's just the two of us. But we've nicely talked, shared experiences. Govardhan Prabhu told me his feelings, the meetings with Guru, how that happened. I never asked that, but this time I had the opportunity to ask that. Also, on the weekends, we're learning Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday, we read the 8th chapter, and quite an interesting thing. Maharaj, I wanted to give some attention to that. So we were reading Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter, I think 8.9. Why am I... So the previous weekend, before the appearance of Gurudev, we had a public program and we encountered some people who were very inspired with the conception of Mayavada. If you remember, we talked about that. And I had to encounter that and give some arguments. It was not like a duel, but they were defending their point of view. And they're saying, oh, we are one with the Lord, we are the same as Him. And they do not want to accept our position as a servant. What I was trying to quote, Jivara Sarupa Hoy, that verse which Mahaprabhu says. And then yesterday, in the 8.3 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I'll quote, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. And it says that the soul is part of the Brahman. Indestructible. And I thought that these people, these personalities, they're not trying to seek what is further than Brahman. And I wanted to ask you, Maharaj, am I thinking correctly, like my line of thought, that they're not seeking anything beyond Brahman and they're stopping on the level of Brahman? And as they're reading Bhagavad Gita, they can understand that, oh, it's written here that the soul is a part of Brahman and it's one with Brahman. That's how their conclusions. But they do not want to go further. That Brahman is what is that? It is the brilliance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is their problem, that they're not going further. Am I understanding that correctly? They're not going further. And it is true that the soul is the part of Brahman, particle, and the Lord is the source of Brahman, is the source of all jivas.
Well, on one side, you can say it is their problem. But on the other side, you can say it's your good fortune that you can go beyond that conception. Because the Mayavad teaching, it is the pervasive teaching in India and in the world. It has become like that due to the influence of Kali. And when we hear from Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, from Srila Prabhupada, from Sri Bhagavad Gita as it is, or Bhagavad Gita, hidden treasure of the sweet absolute, then if we are fortunate, we will definitely pass beyond this idea of the oneness. But we have to admit there are a lot of unfortunate people in the world. So we can think maybe they are unfortunate, but we must again come to look at ourselves, our fortune, that we can go beyond that. And the thing is that some very simple, like logic with those who say, we are God, you are God, I am God. I mean, it really feels quite childish after we've been with Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And how is it that grown up, apparently intelligent, well-educated people stop at that point? And we can, I suppose, say they are not Bhagyavan Jeev. They are not the fortunate soul. And so we know that some Sukriti is required in the background. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to explain, as you have said just now, the origin of Brahman, the origin of energy And energy comes from somewhere. Everybody knows it. You can't have even in the physical sense, you can't have an electric power station without having energy, something which is creating energy. So the energy is coming from the energetic. So where does the Brahman come from? What is its source? And so this leads us to the personality of Godhead. However, if you study, and you won't study, so this is absolutely theoretical, if you study Shankaracharya's commentaries, then Mahaprabhu said, you will be convinced by his commentaries. And so we know that there are at least 100 versions by now of the Bhagavad Gita in English, interpreted by yogi this, yogi that, professor this, professor that, or even some we know are translated by Fred blogs, John Smith, something without some people with only completely speculating. So there are many versions of Bhagavad Gita out there, but Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita and Srila Guru Maharaj's Bhagavad Gita, they have got the clarity of the vision of those who understand the whole picture and not just the sun rays coming from the sun. So we can try to explain to them, but this part, when people say, you are God, I am God, it just sounds so childish because we're obviously not exactly the creators. We're not the ones who people, that we've got millions of people praying to us and we hear their prayer and we're going to answer their prayer. And let's be a little bit realistic about this. And we're not the ones who are going to do the miracles, create a planet and stop planets from falling out of the sky, float them in the sky, give a balance in nature. We don't, as we've said in previous times, we don't know what's happening in the next room. Next time somebody says that they are God, ask them what's happening in the next room. What are they cooking in the kitchen for dinner? Quite a simple thing. But Krishna knows. He knows what's going on in the next room. God knows everything. He knows what's going on in our minds. And hence, he can put us in illusion. Oh dear, that's where he has put us. Okay, now once we have been put in illusion, which let's face it, that's where we are. I am my body. I know I'm my body. I am this. I am that. We are caught in this illusion. But now we're here, and now we've come through these cycles to the human life. Then Krishna is throwing us more than a rope, but you can say throwing us a rope to the drowning man in the ocean. Then a rope is being thrown from the big ship to take us to safety so that we can catch the rope. But we have to catch the rope. We have to understand this rope is coming from a friendly place. This rope is coming from a place of security, not to be suspicious. Oh, I'm being given a rope. I'm being told, just hold on to the rope, but you've got to hold on in this particular way. But if we are suspicious and think, no, I'll be able to swim across to the other side. I'll be able to swim. It's only the Pacific Ocean. My little dinghy, my little sailing boat sank in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but I know I can swim to the end. It's kind of foolish, even in the material world. When somebody comes to rescue us, we don't throw away that rope or that lifeboat which is coming to rescue us. Hare Krishna. And on my screen, then the message has come up from Madhura Lila in Cedar Rapids. And she sent a message here. Hare Krishna. And yes.
Maharaj, you have touched on the topic of illusion and you've gave the description of it. And we had some thoughts on the illusion. Illusion, how is it manifest? Illusion, yes, we get it. When we feeling it, I, me, mine. but it can also manifest in my spiritual life, because Bhagavad Gita says the source of illusion is the kama and krodha, the lust and anger. But how can it be manifest in our sadhana, in our daily practice of bhakti yoga? Bhakti yoga can also.
I'm not so sure I understand properly the question, but illusion is illusion, and who is a magician? They can do magic, and we know it's magic. And I've seen personally, like in person, some very, very convincing magicians. And Krishna is the magician of magicians. So illusion is very easy for Krishna. And we are little living entities, and we can easily be put into thinking that what is an orange is in fact an apple, and what is an apple is in fact an orange. So if we can be put in illusion in that way, in this material world, with just somebody holding up their hands, nothing in, apple, orange, like that. And then how does he do that? We know that he's not just, here's an orange, you want an apple. He produces an apple. He's somehow put us in illusion. So this world of illusion is the place where we play. Children are given a place to play, so that they've got a pretend house, a pretend car, pretend horse, whatever it may be, and they're playing. So more or less, we have children who decided, I want to play God. I want to be the enjoyer. And so the Lord has given that opportunity. So those who really still want to play God, then there's lots of opportunity within the illusory world to enjoy as a bird, to enjoy as an elephant, to enjoy as anything. But they've all got their bodies with themselves at the center. And it is that which is putting us into this pretend world, the world where we can pretend to be masters. And to pretend to be a master, that sounds like illusion to me, like pretending world, a false world. So we need to understand where we are. This is Sanatana Goswami's very first question. Like, who am I? What's my situation? What's the destination? And how to go? So to understand where we live, to understand our current position, then we need this background of Bhagavad Gita. We need the background of Srimad Bhagavatam. We need the background of actually the living persons who are practicing this, which is Guru, Vaishnava, Guru and Vaishnava. The Vaishnava and Gurus, Vaishnavas and Gurus, those who are actually practicing that current. But Guru Maharaj also says clearly, he said, the argument will go on forever. Does God exist or doesn't God exist? That some will stop and can't go past that Brahma Jyoti idea. Oh, but we came from the Brahma Jyoti. There is a big light. And we've come from there. We have that similar nature. But where does it come from? The personality of Godhead, which Srila Prabhupada repeatedly in the texts everywhere is translating, like Hari and many words which generally mean God. He's spelling it out, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, stressing this point that everything has come from a personality. And as long as we deny the personality, that God is the Supreme Person, the personality of Godhead, then we're going to be put into the illusory world for our denial of God, that I am the enjoyer and that I will become one with the great Brahman is also a kind of selfish attitude that I feel always is one. That's also this I conception is there. But those who don't have the eye to see will always say, no, there is no God. Those who do have the eye to see or have faith in those that have the eye to see will happily assert, there is God. And so Guru Maharaj said, this argument, it is almost useless. Those who have no eye to see, if we can't just wake up them a bit to have a peep, then the argument is useless, because they will always say, no, doesn't exist, because they don't have that capacity. So the answer, I suppose, in one word to your original question, Suresh Krishna, is exactly that yes, they are unfortunate that they can only go into that position. But on this other side, we must then appreciate our fortune that by the grace of Guru and Vaishnava, then we are able to understand at least that the origin of everything is the personality of Godhead. We have willing, feeling, and thinking. I mean, there are different ways to put this. We have willing, feeling, and thinking. So similarly, we can't have more qualities than the creator who made everything. That's kind of, we have personality. So isn't that a quality? That must be in the origin. Who do we pray to? Anybody who's really in difficulty, even the atheists, basically, they're going to resort to some prayer. Oh, this time, please make it work out. Who are we praying to? We're praying to a big, bright light, 10,000, 10 kilowatt lamp in the corner of the room, or are we going to pray to a person? Lots of things which just seem very logical, so that we can understand that there is the supreme personality of God. But yes, Prabhu, good try. You are trying to to convince people. But remember, they are quoting from Bhagavad Gita. They have read, most likely, Shankaracharya's commentaries, or related to Shankaracharya's commentaries, the impersonal. And this way, perhaps their first introduction to the Vedas, to the Bhagavad Gita, etc., is impersonalism. And as I'm sure we mentioned before, I'll mention, but whether here or not, I don't know, but tends to be that what we first learn when we grow up, that stays with us. And if somebody tries to tell us something different later, we think, no, they're wrong. I know that this, this other way is right. But then you have to start to think, so was that teacher right, or is this teacher right? Just because it was the first one who we heard from, then must I consider that he or she was correct? And I have that experience with my young days at school. I was never a great enthusiast or very capable, but in school we had some free curriculum that you can do on top of your actual studies in the school, but it was free from the government. And I chose the yoga, just the physical yoga. I just, okay, I'll do the yoga, because everyone says yoga is good, as many of you maybe practice. But the first term or the first semester, the teacher was teaching in a certain way. And then in the second semester, there was another teacher, and they taught the opposite way. And then I remember immediately thinking, oh, this teacher is unqualified. I know it should be the other way. But then you start to think, oh, which one is right? If we're lucky, we'll start to think that. But that first impression definitely kind of stays with you, and you have to then cross that understanding. So who you're speaking to, because there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita out there, and because Mayavada, impersonalism, is so prevailing, because it is so prevailing, then quite likely they've got their beginning within the impersonalist thinking. So then you've got double the work to do to undo what they've heard, and then to try to give some introduction to something which is positive, progressive, happy, natural. But the fortunate will cross that, the unfortunate will not. Sudurlabha, very rare to get the human birth, and then very rare, as we've gone through various times, step by step, to come to the proper understanding of Krishna, of God, and then see how rare it is to understand about Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, even though in Kali Yuga, they are the presiding deities, they are the lords of Kali Yuga. We were remembering how Sachi Devi had a dream, the mother of Mahaprabhu, not any today is such a dream of Balaram and Krishna are on the throne. In her dream, she sees that Nityananda and Mahaprabhu, they're coming to that throne and arguing with Balaram and Krishna, telling them, you've got to get off the throne. It's our time. It's Kali Yuga. It's our time to sit on this throne. And then with a bit of a fight and a bit of assertion, then Nitai and Gauranga sat upon the throne. And this was a startling dream for Sachi Devi because, of course, she's in parental affection to both Nitai and Gauranga, but an indication that they are the lords of this age. So step by step, there are many, many Krishna worshippers in India. But in what form of Krishna worship? Is it in the line of Mahaprabhu? And even in Bengal, where Mahaprabhu appeared, sorry to say, we've had so many people say things which are very unhappy for us to hear, because so many consider that Mahaprabhu is just another of the great souls or the preachers of the past, something like that. And that's very sad, because he is not just another preacher from the past. And what's more, who they equate him with is very much not giving what is proper conception of Krishna consciousness. So that's always very sad to hear. So coming to Mahaprabhu's teaching, again, we need this grace of the Vaishnavas, grace of Krishna to give us the association of the devotees. And it's the devotees' grace that infuses some understanding in us. And we've never got it, so we shouldn't be proud. Oh, now we're there. We've got our direction, but we have to be good students in that direction. Not just to get entrance into the university, but we have to keep our position in the university year by year, examination by examination. And we know, Krishna examines us, gives us various challenges, completely unexpected challenges from unexpected places, but we have to deal with every situation properly and stay safe. Otherwise, we also can be put into different levels of illusion. We're already trying to come out. We know we are not out of illusion, but we know we're going in the right direction. But if we don't pass the exams, if we start to do wrong things along the path, then we are liable to be demoted, sent down to a lower class, or sent out of the university even. So others may be unfortunate, but we need to be careful of our fortune and try to share that with others who may be fortunate to recognize what we are sharing. And what we're sharing is Gurudev, clear. And Srila Gurudev recently, in perhaps an audio or a video, Srila Gurudev, is my audio very bad?
Maharaj, video is bad. Audio is quite well. Video is bad.
Okay, well, I can turn off the video. That should help. That should help the audio, I think. Hare Krishna. Anyway, Srila Gurudev, just very recently we were hearing Srila Gurudev, of course, in the recorded version. Now, was it a video? Maybe. But Srila Gurudev was asserting, like he's just being so clear, saying, and what we have got, it is the pure seed of the current of Mahaprabhu. It is certain, it's 100% clear, just like daylight. So that's Gurudev's vision, and that must be our vision, that what we are receiving right now, it's not contaminated, it's not diluted, it's the real thing. If it was before Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, we have a very hard time, even in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, very narrow current to find the real substance of Mahaprabhu's teaching. And only after Srila Prabhupada came to the West, really, for the world, have we got this possibility of connection. And even then, with all the unfortunate things that happened after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, then the fortunate who came to that shelter of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, of Guru Maharaj first, of course, and of Srila Gurudev, then Gurudev, absolutely clear that what we've got at this time, it is absolutely pure, and it's as clear as the day, as the sunlight. And this kind of real understanding is very important for us, so that we can make our lives successful. Not again me, but Krishna wants us, Mahaprabhu wants us, the Vaishnavas, they want us to come home and not unnecessarily continue to suffer in this plane. And why unnecessarily? Because we can think that our suffering that we've gone through for countless births has brought us to this position where the rope has been sent to us. And so we can think, so our time of repeated suffering here is over. We've been through so much. Well, we've got our rope, we've got our opportunity to come out. And so not to just leave it and go back into the ocean and down into the depths of the ocean and become again a whale or a shark or all those wonderful things, or a dinosaur, all the wonderful things that children love to have as toys. We can become one of those cuddly sharks. Hare Krishna. Now, did that answer your question, Suresh Krishna?
Maharaj, fully, even more than fully. But Maharaj, I have one more question. Recently, I was talking with one devotee, and he shared one thing with me. Like, as he's chanting japa, he's using, well, if we can say that, he puts Govinda Maharaj's japa, and on that as a background, he chants, and that helps him. And I started to think, oh, I want to ask Madhusudan Maharaj, what did Govinda Maharaj say about this kind of japa style?
Specifically, I don't have an incident that I can say, oh, exactly this came to Gurudev, or exactly this came to Guru Maharaj. But we can think that Gurudev about different things. They said, actually, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sava Shaktis. This verse, the second verse of Shikshastakam, is giving us the clue that really there are no hard and fast rules for chanting. So if somebody is getting inspiration by doing this, by doing that, it's not that it's like a forbidden thing to do. But most of us here know that Srila Gurudev himself asked to Srila Guru Maharaj, what should I think about when I'm chanting? Should I sit in front of the deities? What should I meditate, picture the Lord in my mind? What should I do? And Guru Maharaj's answer to Gurudev, that we heard several times from Gurudev, was that Guru Maharaj said to simply meditate on the name of the Lord. That will be out the focus, on the name, on the sound. We are to cultivate that. So I really have no comment if somebody wants to put on Gurudev or Guru Maharaj. We know some places they put Srila Prabhupada chanting japa in the background. We have been in such places. But I have no comment. If it's favorable to somebody, let it be. But I'm not sure I would do it. But that's just a reflection. So you're asking me, so I don't think I would do it. But at the same time, there are no hard and fast rules and regulations.
Да, понятно. Ну, я и хотел послушать мнение, потому что я не знал, как...
That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Your opinion. I did not know how you do it and your opinion.
Теперь я понял, да.
But now I understand. And also, Yuvati Didi had a question, interesting one. We wanted to discuss it with you, Yuvati from Estonia. Perhaps you can ask your question. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
Ну да, Дандават Махарадж.
Yes, Dandavat Maharaj.
У меня был такой вопрос, что как мы должны
My question is,
относиться к
how
преданным,
should
которые
we
были недавно
deal with
нашими равными
devotees who
братьями, а
were
потом
our
получили
equal
саньясу?
godbrothers, but then they
В
received
случае,
sannyasa?
на моем
You know,
опыте, это было
in my
Динашрая
experience,
Прабhu и
this
Данди
was
Махараджем,
Dinashraya
потом
Prabhu and
Аджита
Dandi
Кришна
Maharaj,
и
then Ajita Krishna
Джитендре
Prabhu
Махарадж. Он
and
теперь
Jitendriya Maharaj right now.
Когда-то я с ними общалась на «ты».
Once I
И потом
was
вот для меня
informally talking with them,
происходит переход на «вы» в
but
связи
then
с
I had
принятием
to switch to
саньясы.
formal talking due to their
Не
sannyasa.
знаю,
I
какая
do not.
правильная,
What is the
как
proper?
правильно это
What is the proper?
должно быть. Может быть,
How
Суреш
should it
поточнее еще,
be?
потому
Perhaps
что
Suresh Krishna
мы это
Prabhu,
обсуждали, и
you
может быть,
can
у тебя еще как-то по-другому будет
confirm
фокус
because maybe
вопроса.
you had a different focus on the question.
То, как ты сказал, да.
No,
Хорошо.
it is the way you said it. Yes, it is so.
Okay, well, I have heard the translation just now. I mean, I've heard what you just said through Hari Gopal Prabhu. And, well, there are two things. First of all, we have seen that this is nothing to do with any of the sannyasis you're mentioning, but we have seen lots of people take sannyas. And we've seen some of them, unfortunately, turn into another person, like giving lots of orders and this, that, and the other. But Gurudev is happy that the devotee stays the same. They're not suddenly becoming a master to order people around and have servants. And we've got like direct examples of one sannyasi, one devotee took sannyas, and Gurudev said that he has been spoiled by another sannyasi who started to give him guidance, like a senior sannyasi. Remember, we are all junior. That's something we've got to keep in mind. We can't pretend we're all junior. But a senior sannyasi of several years started giving instruction to this other sannyasi in Navadip. Oh, now you're a sannyasi. Don't do this. Don't clean the drains. Don't sweep the thing. No, now you're a sannyasi. You need to tell others what to do, like this. And that sannyasi, that new sannyasi, became, quite Like, oh no, it's not my job to do this. And he started to follow those teachings. And Gurudev was disappointed with that and actually said he's been spoiled by the influence of this other person. So it's not our guess that Gurudev wants someone who will take sannyas to still be the same person. But they must follow some etiquette. So in your case, you're a lady. So the sannyasis really should not be intimately talking with the ladies. And so if that is the case, then, I mean, it means innocently, everything, of course, innocently. But it could be that there can be some change like that they think, okay, now I'm a sannyas, which means that for the rest of their life, they're not, it's like the putting the line under the chapter, that they're not going to have more relations with ladies. And if they do, they need to leave the sannyas. That's also come up again and again. There are so many sannyasis who did take sannyas. And then some relation with ladies came. Gurudev would insist, that's okay, that's happened. Now you have to wear white. You have to take that responsibility. So always a sannyasi, from that point of view, can be vulnerable, you can say. But as a person and as a devotee, everything will continue the same. What can we say? The sannyas is meant for preaching. It's meant because the general population of India, and we see in the Vaishnava community in the West also, they are taught to give some particular etiquette, honor to the sannyasis. So this way they are the preacher. So we'll give our respect that, okay, they've taken a vow and they're going to give their life, mind, body, and words for devotional service. But we know that not every sannyasi who takes sannyas really does this. They may do many other things and utilize, funds for themselves, for cars, and so, whatever it may be. But this was all disapproved by Gurudev. So you have to take on a case by case, but when they're your friends before, we hope they'll still be your friends afterwards. And just, you don't want to be in a room together with a sannyasi. That's not fair, not looking fair from outside like that. As a lady, but for the men, the relationship with the sannyasi will be pretty much as it was previously. And they'll honor him. Sannyasi doesn't mean that now he's a guru and a charger. He's a leader, so it is good that he can have a group and go preaching. It is meant for added opportunity to distribute the holy name of the Lord. And it's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who established this Tridanda Sannyas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it's for using mind, body, and words for the service of the Lord. And we know from Guru Maharaj that he's fully expecting the sannyasis to live simply and preach. And it's not a position of getting all the luxury things and sitting back and watching TV. So we have to see the conduct of everybody, but we hope that they don't change. And we've got some wonderful examples of devotees who took sannyas and they didn't change. And we've also got unwonderful examples of devotees who took sannyas and did change. And very often when they change, Krishna doesn't allow any pride in a devotee. And pride comes before a fall is an English expression. But also Guru Maharaj said that Krishna does not tolerate any pride in the devotees. So we've also seen many unfortunate persons who took sannyas and then fell down into mundane identification. And it happens, but then can stand up again. But in general, when the sannyasis would fall down, Gurudev would definitely have them wait, not immediately again to put on saffron cloth when they say, oh, I did wrong, can I be a sannyasi again? No, you must wait. And in some cases, Gurudev said, it will be a long time before this person again will be a sannyasi. Because sometimes we think, oh, it's a fall down, and again, they'll come back to the stricter life presently. But Gurudev was very aware, very conscious. One particular devotee who I commented to Guru Maharaj, well, I think soon he'll come back. He'll understand what he's doing, and he'll come back in the line. And Gurudev, quite surprisingly to me, said, it'll be a long time before he can come back into the sannyas cloth. And actually, we've seen it in that case. But Yuvati, we are all human beings. We are all junior. We need to give support to everybody, and appropriate support for all. And really, if somebody is a brahmachari, householder, nothing, whatever their position is in the world, then we want to give support and encouragement in devotional life. And really that comes down to everybody following what Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have given. It's not a question that we kind of graduate to not having to chant our rounds, not having to do this, not having to do that, not having to go to Mangalati, etc. Not. We must do these things and encourage each other to do it also. So whether a sannyasi or not, but a sannyasi will live in the temple. A separate life, that is grihastha life. This is the general way. And we will give support, either live in the temple or be traveling, but traveling and preaching, not traveling and enjoying. And we will encourage everybody in whatever status. But we are human beings. Let us treat each other as human beings. Let us treat each other kindly also. And if anyone's rough with us, we'll just be kind and not react, not to retaliate. We have to just quietly step back, and we have to understand everyone's different and in a different position within the material world. And so, we just have to carefully walk our own path. And I think that these devotees who are becoming sannyasis, and we've seen, as I say, we've seen many devotees become sannyasis from when we first came to Srila Guru Maharaj, in fact, and we've seen lots of history. So basically, we are all one team together, and we must try to give assistance to everyone. And if the sannyasis will be in a good leadership role for preaching, then, of course, the added focus and added assistance will be given according to their showing of capacity to do the distribution. Give honor to everyone. There are lots of chats come in the chat box while we've been chatting. Or maybe not lots, but some chats. And Sadhvi saying Hare Krishna, and yes, Madhura Leela. Oh, she commented about the earlier question about Brahman. Most people can't move beyond the Brahman. Or to surrender is frightening. Yes. Because we don't trust. This is where coming to hear from Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, this is where we get trust, faith, trust and faith. The world is scary. Oh, well, you can read the chat in the chat box. Yes. Yes, we need to have a place where we can actually have faith and put our head where there is no question, no suspicion. We don't have to keep looking over our shoulders. Oh, he's right or wrong. And that was Guru Maharaj, that was Gurudev for sure. And then Lilavati in Israel, she sent a message and Udaran Prabhu's translated it, but you can read the Russian language message. In English, it is a message from Lilavati about Japa, that spiritual master. Oh, about Japa, the spiritual master chants. We make a recording for the dying person. I suppose that's normal. Yeah, very good. At first, it was much easier for me to chant Japa from the recordings of Govinda Maharaj or Sridhar Maharaj. If these recordings exist, why are they still needed? Not sure I quite catch that. When we began our program today, we played a recording of Srila Gurudev chanting the mini Vandana as we chant. And certainly we feel very happy for that. To hear his voice, to be reminded of his voice, and to feel, I know it's a recording, but to feel how he knows what he's saying. He knows. He's not just saying the sound, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Parakamalang, and then you ask at the end, oh, what does it all mean? Oh, I don't know, but we say it before we read the book. You know, Gurudev is hearing these things. So the recording of the japa, the recording of his voice, the recording of his, it's a symptom of his heart. And if we had a recording of Rupa Goswami, we would be worshipping that recording. We have so many recordings of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. We must worship those, not just try to fill our computer or phone with recordings and not ourselves kind of appreciate and practice what they're transmitting for us. But I'm not sure if I exactly got your question. They're needed for our inspiration. The recordings are needed for my inspiration. If nobody else gets any inspiration, okay, I'm a bit sad, but I think that most devotees do get inspiration from the recording. But the question about the chanting of japa, that do we chant japa while listening to Gurudev's recording of him chanting japa? That's another question, and which I answered earlier on. And no hard and fast rules, but I'm not sure I would do it. But for a dying person, I mean, definitely you want to have all these favorable things, the sound vibration of Gurudev's recorded voice. See if you can find a sound vibration of Mahaprabhu's voice and him chanting Hare Krishna. I think that would be very good recording to play while someone is leaving their body. Once upon a time, long ago when I was young, I used to clean the rooms in Navadip. I used to clean the rooms right up until the day I left, by the way. But anyway, that was still a long time. A long time ago in Navadip, I was cleaning one room in the guest house, the one guest house at that time, which was the Paschatya Sevak Bhavan, the Westerners, Paschatya Sevak Bhavan, Seva building, Seva house. And I was cleaning the top room in the far right-hand corner. And while I was cleaning the room, I heard what really sounded like a heavenly sound, like something I'd not heard before. And, I'm not one for, surreal this and surreal that. I'm absolutely not one like that. But it just sounded just so heavenly. And I wasn't sure like who was singing or where it was coming from. So anyway, I didn't think more about it, but I was cleaning the room. And then the sound kept on coming out. And when I came out of the room, I heard, oh, the sound's coming from this other room, which if you wish to know, the second room on the left, on that top floor. And there was a devotee on the veranda there playing a cassette. Those days we had cassettes, those things with the tape inside and the two wheels that the new generation have never seen before. Anyway, somebody was playing a cassette, but what was the cassette? It was Srila Prabhupada singing. I've heard his music before, but I mean his singing before, etc. But that didn't reach me. What kind of reached me was a very beautiful, transcendentally beautiful kind of sound. And then that was coming from a recording of Srila Prabhupada. So, you know, there are things attached to sound, even if it may not be live from the person. And for instance, rap music or anything else, and people play at full volume and get all angry and all, you know. But you can also have gentle music. So sound is a very fine medium and can influence us. And transcendental sound is coming from the transcendental persons. So I think there is a need for us, for the sound, the recordings, and to know, just to be more acquainted, to be closer to knowing Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. Anything that will help that must be a plus. And it's never been possible before unless you were a yogi to hear what someone was singing in like 1970, 55 years ago. To hear somebody, what somebody was singing word by word or chanting word by sound from 55 years ago. You really would have had to be a pure yogi to be able to do that. But today we take it for granted. And what to speak of what the direction, the instruction, the interaction of 55 years ago, witnessing, being able to see what was taking place. So there is a place for these recordings, certainly. And still I can emphasize, I'm here in Hungary at the moment, in Budapest, in the Sri Saraswati Sridhar Govinda Seva Kundra. It's written on the wall, it's a long name. It's the ashram in Budapest, which Kanupriya Devidasi and the devotees have manifested and is really a life-giving place in Hungary here. And yesterday, in the gathering, then we are playing Srila Govinda Maharaj from the computer, Srila Govinda Maharaj from the YouTube channel, Srila Govinda Maharaj video series, with the Hungarian automatic translation from what has been prepared by Chinmoydev for the captions. And with the translation of those captions, not just the random captions that Google or something might think that Govinda Maharaj is saying, but from those captions it's translated. And some of the devotees know good English and good Hungarian. And I asked, how is the translation? And they said, very good. And so we had all the devotees around the screen and completely focused on Srila Gurudev, giving his teaching and seeing him, hearing him, seeing his manner. And this morning here we played, doesn't sound right, but we showed Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sri Rama. So yesterday, Srila Gurudev, today, Srila Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj on his veranda. And we're able to show them a little bit of where they are, what door does this go to, what door does that go to, and like show the veranda of Gurudev, show the veranda of Guru Maharaj. So the recordings definitely have value. If someone doesn't get inspiration, that's okay, but lots of devotees definitely will get inspiration. And I'm one of them, to be able to sit and re-hear or hear for the first time, and sometimes it's rehearing, talks that we are right there with Gurudev seated, and we've heard. But many talks also, like the ones we get from California when Gurudev was on the world tour, I wasn't there, but we just get absorbed in the video and then seeing the video, hearing Gurudev's voice, and we just get absorbed in the video. And now you see with the translation of those captions available, then it's giving inspiration to devotees who wouldn't otherwise be able to catch that opportunity. Even when Gurudev was, because they living directly with us, they would be sitting and hearing English and not understanding what he's saying. Now can sit and hear, and it's simultaneously getting that translation. So again, we can come back to this theme that Mahaprabhu has allowed this technology and various technologies. So we need to use it in his service. That's why it's been allowed. Not so that we can dive deeper into the excesses of Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. And this Latvian class or gathering is being recorded. But perhaps some are seeing the recorded version. I listen to recorded versions of classes by devotees also. Hare Krishna. Happily, we want to find association however we can. Oh, we're in Latvia. What's the time? These clocks, what to do? Suresh Krishna Prabhu, you better say something. Or somebody else better say something. Or I'll get chastised by Zoom. Zoom has analytics. And it's chastised me before when I've been the host.
Maharaj, once again, you have emphasized a very important thing, that indeed, I'm taking these recordings for granted. But once again, you're showing, giving us this emphasis that we must very much not take this for granted, that we can see and hear Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, Prabhupada, what was 50 years ago, is very valuable. We can have a different feeling now. Very grateful for all the topics we've discussed, and I think all the devotees liked it very much. I know I did, 100%.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जय तुलसी महारानी की जय, जय श्री चैतन्य सरस्वती अक्षर वृंद की जय, जय श्री भक्ति रंजन मधुसूदन महाराज की जय, जय all the assembled devotees की जय, जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, नित्य गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।
Nitai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol, all the Latvia Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai. And I'm scrolling through because I'm on the phone and happy to
Всем
see all
собравшимся
of you
преданных,
here.
я листаю сейчас на телефоне и рад видеть вас всех.
And I'm hearing my own voice
Я
now
слышу...
translated into Russian.
There we go.
It's all good. And I can still, actually, one more thing comes in my mind too about this point about can we chant japa while listening to Gurudev? We must be broad also to be happy with other people's opinions. Because I know devotees who won't listen to a class of Gurudev or Guru Maharaj, for instance, while in the kitchen cooking. But because they're thinking, oh, I can't give my full attention. But other devotees, they really want to have a class so that they can keep getting some nourishment of their spiritual life while cooking. We're happy with both opinions. And we're not going to say, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. But we'll honor the opinion. And if we're cooking in the kitchen with somebody who really doesn't want, then we won't put it on. If we're in the kitchen with somebody who really wants, then we'll be happy if it's on. So we need to also be flexible. It's not hard and fast. All right, dear devotees, we better stop, otherwise I'll probably think of lots of other things to say too. And we're here in Hungary, as I said, and actually this is now the third full day of our programs here. We've been with the devotees all day, and now after 55 minutes, yes, after 55 minutes, we're starting the means evening program, but we're starting a little earlier because, like most of you, people go to work tomorrow and they may have to drive sometimes a long way to get back. So this is where we are, but we're happy to be with you this afternoon in Latvia and with each of you in your homes around the world. And your homes include Thailand and America and lots of places, Ukraine, naturally Russia, and lots of places going through. Udaram Prabhu, Dandava, Tapati Devidasi in Germany. And I heard some news about Germany very happily a couple of days ago from Suresh Krishna Prabhu and Indumati and Braja Krishna Prabhu on the other side of the country, Dauga Hills. And in Italy, Indubala, she's looking after it from Italy. All right, dear devotees, my repeated obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindubhya eva cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj ki Jai.
And as always, I don't mind you all stay together and chat away in Russian or Latvian or any other language, but I'm going to leave you all just now. Govinda Govinda. Grazie, Gopal Prabhu.
Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad Maharaj, Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad, dear devotees. Харигопал, спасибо за перевод. Махарадж очень вдохновлен и просто это вдохновение передал. Харе Кришна. До встречи. До встречи, до связи в эфире. Харе Кришна. Дандават.